it's Misha Fayant, your speaker, coach, author, healer, and we are starting the Unchained Abundance show. So Unchained Abundance is all about overcoming your past trauma and finding the brilliance and prosperity in your life. Today I want to talk about something that resonates really strongly with me, and the message has been just coming through from all corners today. So that's the message for today. Is, you know, it's healthy to be a little bit selfish sometimes. Let me take these off. There's huge glare. And what I mean is, as abuse survivors, we oftentimes really devalue ourselves. And I know, especially for me, I went through a long period of time and still struggle with it from time to time of, if I say no to somebody, if I don't show up and do whatever they want or need, they're not going to want me around, or I'm going to lose people in my life. And that was hard for me to overcome, because I already felt in my healing, I felt so belittled and so not worthy of anything that I was terrified of losing people. So I never said no. I always said yes. And the problem was that I was saying yes, and I was pouring into other people, and I was giving to other people, but a majority of those people were not there for me in return. A majority of those people had no problem saying no to me when I had great need. And as abuse survivors, we tend to fall in this trap of saying yes, trying to find acceptance, trying to be enough for people. And in the process, we end up creating more trauma for ourselves, because we sit in that space of martyrism, where we wonder why it is we do so much for everybody else and we pour into everybody else, and then people just aren't there for us. One of the clues is when we say yes all the time, when we never say no, and we don't set up boundaries, it devalues the very act of us saying yes. People take it for granted. It's no longer a treasured thing for our yes to be there for other people. And so they just don't value and appreciate it like they should. If somebody asks you to do something or be there and you just really can't, just say no. Just say no. It feels like this horrible being selfish piece, but it's actually a really wonderful being selfish piece. I know I went through it. Like, I had to, or felt like I had to validate every no I gave. And the truth is, you do not have to validate your no. Your no is your no, and you don't have to reason that through with anyone else at any time. It takes some work to get there, to just say no and be done with no and not follow up with excuses. But try. You'll feel so much better once you finally are capable of starting to say no, and you don't feel so used and abused by people. You've already been through enough abuse in your life. You don't need to add to that pile any longer. So most of us are raised with this thought that being selfish is this horrible thing. I know I was. In this case, being selfish and setting up those boundaries, just saying no to things that you really don't want to do, that put your family or your time at risk, that's a great kind of selfish to be. I'm going to say I know one person who, very much like me, or I used to be, had someone call her one day and needed her to pick them up, and they were over an hour away, and she had family waiting at home and other obligations, but she felt like this person was stuck and there was no one else to help them, and so she went to get them. When she went to get them, then the person said, well, they needed to go another hour and a half beyond where she was to go get someone else and then go back home. So she ended up losing 6 hours of her day, sacrificing time with her kids, with her family, with her own self-care to take care of someone else who is not there for her when she needs it. It's a problem with us, or a symptom of us trauma survivors. And it's a symptom that we need to work on healing. Just say no. It's gonna feel awkward at first. It's gonna feel icky at first. I felt like the most horrible person in the world when I started saying no inside. But I had to keep reminding myself that it was actually healthy. And now it's so much easier. Do yourself the favor. Be selfish enough to say no when it's appropriate. Love you. Have a great night. And you have all my support in healing. If you need to know more or would like to connect, please connect with me. The links will be posted above. And you can always find me at www.mishafayant.com, and I'm more than happy to answer questions. Also, if you have things you want me to address or talk about, just post them in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to go over whatever questions or concerns you have. Have a great night.